This is a video on how to install Liberty Mobile. It also shows how to set up printing on the computer so that you can print from your iPad. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on the Internet Explorer or whatever web browser that you're using. Go ahead and open that up. We're next going to navigate to my.resaleworld.com. Then we type in our credentials to sign in. If you do not have your credentials, please contact Resaleworld and we will go ahead and provide them to you over the phone. Next, we go on to the Support Center and then Other Downloads. Move on down towards Utilities at the top, in your tab, and then scroll down until you see Liberty Mobile Server and click Download File. The download in some browsers may be located at the bottom. In this particular case, it is the flashing Internet Explorer icon, and we move on to View Downloads here. We'll notify you that the download is completed. We go ahead and click the Run button. In some cases, it'll let you know that the program, or what it thinks is the actual program, is harmful. Go ahead and select Actions, then select More Options, and select Run Anyway. The next thing we're going to do is click on the Next button located at the bottom to continue through the installation. And we'll go ahead and install the mobile server. You may need to reboot the computer at this point. Go ahead and click Finish to reboot. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and just enable the service, because at this point it doesn't understand that the service has to be restarted. And we're back. The next step is we'll have to create a Liberty Mobile account so that the iPad can sign in and set settings for the printers and actual settings in Liberty as well. To do this, we have to locate the Start menu at the bottom left, click on it, go to the Control panel, and then move on to Users or User Accounts. We want to go ahead and manage another account to create one. So we click on Manage Another Account and then click on Create a New Account located towards the bottom middle section. Usually we like to name this service Liberty Mobile. And make sure that it is an administrator account. Also, when you're doing Liberty Mobile, you have two options. You can either do it as Liberty Mobile without the underscore, or you can do it with an underscore. The reason why we do this is because Windows programs tend to like that underscore, or tend to not like spaces, so to speak. So that's why we do not want to hit the space bar. At this point, after we've selected administrator, go ahead and click Create Account. Now we must set a password for the Liberty Mobile account. To do this, we simply click on the Liberty Mobile account we just created, and then we select Create a Password. This password can be anything you want. Just make sure that you do recall it, or that you do write it down somewhere, as we will need to input it later on in two separate instances. Right now, I'll go ahead and type in my password here. And then click Create Password. The next step is we actually have to go into the services module. This is a place that most people do not normally go into. We do have to go into the services module in order to tell the service to log in as a user, or else it won't have access to any printers. So the way we do this is we click on the start menu at the bottom left. Under search programs and files, we type in services.msc. Now you can either hit enter on your keyboard or you can click on the program at the very top. You'll be taken to an actual services screen. These are a list of all the services running on your computer. One of the easiest ways to navigate, because we're looking for the Liberty mobile service, is to click on one of these services and just simply hit L on our keyboard, and it will immediately take us to the first thing in the L, or alphabetical order of L. In this case, this is exactly what we're looking for. The next step is we right click on Liberty Mobile Server and then click on Properties. Click on the Logon tab at the top, and then in this case I've already had it typed in, but we'll go ahead and scratch it out, and we do a simple dot or a period backslash. Now the dot is usually a signifier of the local machine or the local computer's name. So again, that's a period backslash and then the account that you created, which is Liberty _ mobile. Now we type in the password. Even though you see all these asterisks, just delete them out and type in the password that you created with that particular account. Then click apply. It will let you know that the actual services has been granted the ability to log in as that user. So click OK. And then we click OK again. Now in order for that to actually work correctly, you have to stop the service and start it again. In this case, mine's already stopped, but I'll illustrate how to stop it at the very top. You have a play symbol or a start server, a start symbol. Looks like a small triangle that's green, and then you have a square. In most cases, this will be red to let you know that you can click on it. So we click on stop first, and then we click on start. And it will actually let us know that we're logging in as that Liberty mobile service, and that's so that the iPad again can have access to printers and not to mention other registry options that we require. Next, we have to go ahead and click the Start menu, drop down this option, and click Log Off. And the reason why we're going to do that is because we want to log in as that Liberty mobile user. Now I cannot illustrate this during the video because it will actually shut my recording device down. So to illustrate or to actually speak out what you're going to do, when you get to the logon screen, simply select Liberty Mobile and then sign in with that same password, and you'll be logging into that account. It looks like another desktop with minimal programs on it. You'll be taken to another desktop just like this. The next step, because that's a separate account from the one you were on, is we're going to go ahead and set up the printers. And to do that, we'll go ahead and click on the Start menu and Devices and Printers. Now those settings did not carry over, so naturally if you try to print from the iPad without going through this step, they will either come out upside down, they'll have a blank tag in between, or you might not see your printers at all. It's imperative that you log into the Liberty Mobile account. Next up, we go ahead and click on right click on the printer that's associated with the tags. So in this case it's a TDP-247. We right click on it and then we click on Printing Preferences. The next step, we click on Page Setup at the top left, and these settings are what you need. You must have Portrait 180. This much must read at the top either 4:4 or 4:6. After that is completed, move on to Advanced Options. Make sure that the horizontal offset is set to -0.06 and the vertical offset is -0.03. Then click Apply and OK, and then OK again. We have just set up the printer so that it will print correctly in Liberty.
It is important to note that as long as you are using the Siegel driver for the following printers, Zebra 2844 and the Zebra 2824, these settings will also be applicable to those printers as well.
Now, confirm that your tag styles are correct in Liberty, as they did not carry over as well, and the iPad will see the improper tag styles. To do this, we go into the Start menu and we open up Liberty, or if Liberty is on your desktop, go ahead and open it from there. I'm going to go ahead and log in. In my case, I blanked out my password, so I'm going to click OK. Now we move on to Tools, Options, and then Printing. We next want to make sure that the tag printer is set to the TSC TDP247 or whatever tag printer that you're using, and then we move on to Selected Tag Styles. Here I may have only vertical tags, but again, these options will not mimic what you already had in your previous account. This is just for the iPad. So the iPad is basically looking at default settings. So if you had regular tags on your other system or on your other login, they're not going to be here. So in this particular case, I'm going to check mark my regular tags. I might need to put jewelry tags in as well. So we click OK and then Apply. One thing to note for future reference is if the tags are still not appearing in the actual iPad, number one, make sure you restart the computer when you're done with this entire process at the end of the video, and I will remind you to do that then. It's just imperative. That Liberty Mobile needs to understand that you've made those changes, and it will not know that until you've rebooted the computer. At that point, after you reboot the computer, if you are still having difficulties printing the tags, or that the tags are not appearing on the list, you may need to get elevated rights or get higher administrative rights to the program to make those changes. The way you do that is you right-click on Liberty, you go to Run as Administrator. Liberty will open up exactly like it was before. Go ahead and sign in and repeat the process where you want the Tools, Options, Printing, and then drop down the tag printer if it's not already selected. Go to Selected Tag Styles and just double check and make sure that everything looks fine. If it was incorrect, you'll just see the vertical tags at the bottom, and then you'll need to recheck those options. Again, this is usually for 64-bit machines with what we call virtual stores. We click OK, Apply, and then exit out of Liberty at this point.
Make sure you reboot your computer after running Liberty as an administrator and going through those steps. At the very top, you're going to see two links. One is for internal access, which means you will only be using the iPad inside of the store, and the other is going to be for external access, which means you'll be using the iPad outside of the store. For the second external access link, it is important to note that you will need a static IP address. Also, you will need to port forward 8081 on your router. This will be detailed in the actual video. This was a video on how to install the Liberty Mobile service on your computer.